Ladies and gentlemen, life moves according to its design, weaving a rhythm that is ancient, silent, and far beyond human command. Marcus Aurelius said, "It flows like the tides, like the seasons, like Specc, rising and falling, coming and going." Marcus Aurelius said with awe, without our permission. Yet we so often believe that by his will alone, we can bend its flow to match our desires. Aurelius said, "We make plans, set deadlines, fix it on outcomes, think with an effort, life must obey." Marcus Aurelius said, "But no matter how tightly we hold the river imputience, nor does the sun rise earlier, because we demand it." Marcus Aurelius said, "There is a certain arrogance in believing that lig with our timelines. The tree does not bear fruit because we shout a hurry. It ripens in its own time, guided by forces unseen." In the same way, Marcus Aurelius said, "Our paths unfold at a pace that is often slower or harsher than we wish. Yet there is hidden wisdom in this rhythm. What we call delays are often moments of unseen preparation." Marcus Aurelius said, "What we call failures are sometimes quiet redirections towards something better suited for us, something we could not foresee in our narrow planning." When we try to force life, Marcus Aurelius said, we wrestle against currents far stronger throws our energy on resistance, battling circumstances, people, Marcus Aurelius said, and even ourselves. The harder we push, the more entangled we become in frustration and despair. Marcus Aurelius said, "Like a bird struggling against the wind, we tire. We are of the simple truth. The wind is not our enemy." Marcus Aurelius said, "And not every gust is meant to be fought. Some are meant to carry us if only we would stop struggling long enough to trust." Marcus Aurelius said, "There is great strength in learning to move with life rather than against it. This does not mean passivity or resignation." Marcus Aurelius said, "It means aligning action with reality, sowing seed is fertile instead of demanding growth from barren ground." Marcus Aurelius said, "It means stepping forward with purpose while accepts you never fully ours to command." Marcus Aurelius said, "It means recognizing when to press on and when to spurk, when to listen, when to act, and when to simply endure." Patience is not the absence of ambition. It is the discipline of understanding timing. Marcus Aurelius said, "A warrior knows not to charge into battle blindly haste. A sailor reads stars and the winds before setting out to sea." Marcus Aurelius said, "So too must we read the signs of life, adjusting with humility rather than forcing storms to cease by shouting at the sky." Marcus Aurelius said, "To move wisely is to trust that what is meant will come, not by dragging it from the future through desperate grasping." Marcus Aurelius said, "But by meeting each day with steady hands and the rhythm. Life is not chaos. It is a quiet order." Marcus Aurelius said, "Written in a language older than words. Those who loosen their grip, who walk with patience and trust." Marcus Aurelius said, "Find that life often grants them not only what Ivan Greta, something that grows not from force." Marcus Aurelius said, "But from deep and patient alignment. True strewn, many believe it is found in endless struggle." Marcus Aurelius said, "In pushing harder, climbing faster, or refusing yield no matter the cost, we are taught that to be strong is to be unbreakable." Marcus Aurelius said, "To battle every obstacle, to refuse rest until we color every challenge before us." Yet this vision of strength, Marcus, or built on endless striving, often leaves us exhausted and lost. Real strength is quieter, less glamorous. Aurelius said, "It is not about how forcefully we move again, but we can accept it as it is. Acceptance is not weakness." Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not surrendering ambition or giving up on dreams. It is to see reality clearly and to meet it without anger." Marcus Aurelius said, "Without denial and without desperate resistance, that there are forces larger than our will." Marcus Aurelius said, "And that no amount of frantic striving can bend life into perfect submission." Marcus Aurelius said, "True strength lies in standing firm in the face of the uncontrollable." Marcus Aurelius said, in choosing to work with life's currents rather than trying to overpower them. Marcus Aurelius said, "Those who rely only on relentless striving believe they can't outwork fate itself. They exhaust themselves chasing outcomes." Marcus Aurelius said, "Believing that effort alone guarantees success, but lose ways reward the hardest worker." Marcus Aurelius said, "It rewards those who are wise enough to see when to wit, when to act, and when to yield." Marcus Aurelius said, "Relentless striving blinds us to the natural flow of things in endless dissatisfaction." Marcus Aurelius said, "When we are consumed by striving, we tie our worth strivements, our happiness to outcomes." Marcus Aurelius said, "And our peace to things we cannot fully command, accepts, is rooted in clarity. It is knowing that pain, loss, failure, and uncertainty are not punishments, but parts of the journey." Marcus Aurelius said, "It is allowing ourselves to experience life with need to reshape it to our liking." Marcus Aurelius said, "The strongest are those who can bend without breaking, can endure disappointment without losing heart." Marcus Aurelius said, "Who can face uncertainty without collapsing resignance, not resignation." Marcus Aurelius said, "It plants in us a peace that striving can never produce. When we accept the reality of our situation, we make wiser choices. We stop wasting energy on impossible battles. We use short illusions." Marcus Aurelius said, "We move forward with deliberate strength rather than in acceptance. We find focus, patience, and endurance. We are no longer frantically grasping at control, but firmly rooted in the present." Marcus Aurelius said, "Prepared to meet whatever comes with open eyes. To act life is to trust that we are capable of navigating it." Marcus Aurelius said, "Not because we force it to be easy, but because it endures when it is hard. True strength is not a clenched fist." Marcus Aurelius said, "But an open hand, willing to work, to persevere, to strive when needed, but just as willing to let go when it is time." Marcus Aurelius said, "In this balance between effort and acceptance, we discover that is lasting, unshakable, and free." Marcus Aurelius said, "Suffering often begins not with what happens to us, but with what we expect from life." Marcus Aurelius said, "We move through the world carrying silent demands. How others should treat us, how events should unfold, how quickly success should arrive. These expectations in the mind, rigid and unbending, crafted from our desires and fears." Marcus Aurelius said, "Yet life itself is wild, unpredictable, in the cells we create inside ourselves." Marcus Aurelius said, "When reality does not match the image we hold, it is not merely the event that wounds us, but the gap between our expectation and what is, BGGGations narrow our vision." Marcus Aurelius said, "They trap us into thinking there is only one way for life to be right, only one timeline for our dreams." Marcus Aurelius said, "Only one shape for happiness. When anything these narrow frames, we feel wronged, betrayed." Marcus Aurelius, "As though life has made a mistake. But life owes us nothing, it moves own wisdom. And when we resist it by clinging to our fixed visory, we create our own misery. Disappointment grows, frustration festers, and peace slips further from our reach. Despair is born from fear. It is the frantic attempt to force life into our imagined mold. It is the refusal to allow uncertainty." Marcus Aurelius said, "The denial that some things are beyond us. In the control, we grasp tighter, push harder." Marcus Aurelius said, "And blind ourselves to possibilities outside our realm. We stop seeing opportunities hidden in change." Marcus Aurelius said, "We miss the hidden gifts of what we did not ask for, call an illusion of safety, but it chains us to anxiety." Marcus Aurelius said, "Always needing the world to behave a certain way to feel at ease, no matter how strong our will, no matter how careful our planning. My life remains a current too vast to master. People win ways we not expect." Aurelius said, "Events will unfold in patterns we cannot predict. Our age, fortunes will rise and fall, and loss will touch us all. Marcus Aurelius said, when we meet these realities with rigidity and desperate cool, suffering deepens. Marcus Aurelius said, when we believe that our happiness depends on everything exactly as we wish. Marcus Aurelius said, we make ourselves fragile in a world that guarantees is not hopelessness, but openness. It is the understanding that flexibility is a form of strength. Marcus Aurelius said, it is the wisdom of letting go of demands and meeting moment as it is, not as we insist it must be. Flexibility does not mean passivity. It means adapting with grace. Marcus Aurelius said, moving forward without the heavy burden of Nika per script. It means seeing setbacks not as betrayals, Marcus Aurelius said, but as part of the natural unfolding of life. Rigid expect control, create a battlefield in the mind, a constant war against what is. Freedom begins when we lay down those arms. Marcus Aurelius said, when we allow ourselves to live in the real world rather than in imagined deals. Suffering fades not because life becomes easier, Marcus Aurelius said, but because we stop fighting it at every turn. Peace, Guminlu grip, and trust that life, though wild and untamed, Marcus Aurelius said, can still be good even when it does not fit our plans. Grout forced, it is nurtured, Marcus Aurelius said. Success is not seized through frantic rushing, but cultivated through steady hands and quiet endurance. Marcus Aurelius said, in a world obsessed with speed and instant easy to forget that all things of lasting value require time. Marcus Aurelius said, a tree does not shoot into the sky overnight. Its roots dig the unseen earth before it can reach toward the sun. Marcus Aurelius said, so it is with our own lives. Natural growth are the results of patience and presence, not of hurried striving. Marcus Aurelius said, patience is often mistaken for passivity, but it is not weakness. It is a fierce discipline. Marcus Aurelius said, a conscious decision to trust the process even when visible progress seems slow. Marcus Aurelius said, it is the refusal to abandon the journey because the destination seems distant. Marcus Aurelius said, patience keeps us anchored when doubt whispers thine we are doing, frustration tempts us to quit. It reminds us that real mastery, real fulfillment, Marcus Aurelius said, is born not from short bursts of energy, but from the tendon fought over days, months, and years. Presence is the companion of patience. It is the ability of fully engaged with where we are. Marcus Aurelius said, rather than constantly chasing after what could be, it is the art of giving our full attention to the work before us, no matter how small or unglamorous it may seem. Presence care to the task at hand. It transforms routine into ritual. Marcus Aurelius said, practice into progress. When we are steady and present, we build resilience and understanding in ways that cannot be rushed. Machu's natural growth is quiet. It happens beneath the surface, adown with immediate reward or applause. Marcus Aurelius said, it demands faith that the seeds we plant today will, in their time, break through the soil. Marcus Aurelius said, the impatient mind looks for shortcuts, searches for guarantees, but nature does not bargain with impatience. Marcus Aurelius said, it rewards only those who show up again and again, who wait at the root when no shoots have yet appeared. Marcus Aurelius said, who trust the slow work of becoming. Success by appearance is stronger than success built on frantic grasping. It endures hardship because it was not born of luck or force, but of constant, mindful effort. Marcus Aurelius said, it is not fragile because it was not rushed. It has the invisible to the world, but essential to its strength. Marcus Aurelius said, those who move steadily are less likely to burn out, learn their path when obstacles arise. Aurelius said, they have learned that obstacles are not signs to quit, but part of the natural landscape of growth. In patience and steady presence, we find not only progress but peace. We stop measuring our worth by how quickly we achieve. Marcus Aurelius said, we start valuing the quiet dignity of showing up, given our best to the moment before us. Over time, Marcus Aurelius said, without the need for force or frantic efforts, not as a reward stolen from life. Marcus Aurelius said, but as a gift naturally given to those who true steady rhythm of becoming. Letting go is not an act of giving up, Marcus Aurelius said. It is an act of choosing what no longer needs, for suffering comes from clinging. Clinging to outcomes, Marcus Aurelius said, to old wounds, to hopes that have hardened into chains. We hold on tightly, thinking that if we just refuse to release our grip, Marcus Aurelius said, we can control the world around us. But the tighter, more treacherous we become. Freedom is not found in greater control. It is found in the soft, courageous act of letting go, Marcus Aurelius said. To let go is to admit that life is bigger than our stubbornness, Marcus Aurelius said. It is the recognition that not everything we lose and not everything we surrender is a failure. Sometimes, letting go is the first step toward receiving what we truly need. Aurelius said, it clears the space cluttered by unmet expectations and broken dreams. It allows us to move forward unburdened, Marcus Aurelius said. Light enough to be carried by the winds of change, rather than crushed by the weight of resistance. Freedom arises when we stop fighting against what cannot be changed. Marcus Aurelius said, the mind loosens its endless loops of what if. We exhaust us from the exhausting need to replay old conversations. Marcus Aurelius said, to rewrite the past, to anticipate every possible future in the space letting go creates. Marcus Aurelius said, we are no longer prisoners of fear and regret. We are lulled in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius said, where real life breathes and where real possibility hold, gratitude naturally follows when we let go. Marcus Aurelius said, without the shadow of relentless long-enduring dose of what has been present all along. The small kindnesses, Marcus Aurelius said, the unexpected gifts, the simple miracles of ordinary days, all become visible when we are not blinded by what we think we lack. Marcus Aurelius said, gratitude roots us in what is real and lasting, rather than leaving us chasing the illusions that always seem just out of reach. Marcus Aurelius said, it fills the space left behind when old ties, nourishing us with quiet joy. Marcus Aurelius said, inner peace is the ultimate gift of letting go. It still arises when we are no longer at war with life. Marcus Aurelius said, no longer demanding that it be something other than what is. Inner peace does not mean we feel no sorrow or face no hardship. Marcus Aurelius said, it means we no longer resist the tides of existence. We moved against them. We understand that everything is passing. Marcus Aurelius said, everything is changing, and that our strength lies in our ability to meet change without losing ourselves. Marcus Aurelius said, letting go is not a one-time act, but a daily practice. It is gentle discipline of loosening our grip again and again, of choosing trust over fear, acceptance over control. It requires courage, yes, Marcus Aurelius said, but it rewards us with something far greater than the allure of searching. It gives us freedom. Gratitude for the simple fact of being alive, and a peace that cannot be taken away. No matter how fierce the storms of life may become, Marcus Aurelius said, there is a hidden strength that emerges when we read to force life into shapes of our own making. So often, Marcus Aurelius said, we believe that if we press harder, if we push a very presticle, we can create the reality we desire. But in this endless struggle, we lose something vital, the ability to listen. We lose the softness that allows us to adapt. Marcus Aurelius said, we become rigid, hardened by frustration, cut off from the natural flow that carries all things forward. When we stop forcing, we do not become passive or weak. Instead, we own a different kind of power, the quiet power of alignment. Marcus Aurelius said, we learn to act with intention, but without desperation. We recognize that while our efforts matter. Marcus Aurelius said, outcomes are not entirely within our control. To recognize that some things ripen slowly, Marcus Aurelius said, and that wisdom lies in knowing when to act and when to wait. In stepping away from force, we begin to transform ourselves. Marcus Aurelius said, the mind calms, the heart softens, the body relaxes control. We become more present, more observant. more capable of responding to life rather than reacting against it. Marcus Aurelius said, "We discover that patience is not inaction but a pro-form of strength. We no longer need constant victories to feel worthy." Marcus Aurelius said, "We no longer need constant movement to feel alive begins to respond when we are no longer rigid. Opportunities find space to arise when we are longer ditchips deepen and strengthen naturally." Marcus said, "When we are no longer demanding, gratitude grows days sation once live." Marcus Aurelius said, "Life reflects our state back to us. When we meet it offers us more than our narrow striving ever could." Marcus Aurelius said, "This transformation does not mean that life table. It means that we become ready to meet whatever it brings." Marcus Aurelius with clarity and calm. We are no longer thrown off course by every disappointment, no longer trapped by every unmet expectation. We carry within us a stillness that no storm can shing. When we begin to move with life instead of against it. Marcus Aurelius said, "We plant our efforts like seeds, and we allow the soon to their work. In that trust, in that steady surrender, we grow stronger, deeper, freer, and life in turn." Marcus Aurelius said, "Unfold ways that are richer and more beautiful have created." Marcus Aurelius said, "So let us stop wrestling with life as if it were our enemy. Let us meet instead with patience, presence, and quiet trust." Marcus Aurelius said, "When we release the need to force, we unlock a deep with the altars. A strength rooted not in control, but in acceptance, resilience, and grace. In that space lie longer resists, it moves with us. And in moving with life," Marcus Aurelius said, "we find a freedom, a fulfillment, and a peace far greater than anything we could have ever forced into being."